One of the earliest memories I have of changing my life was back in sixth or seventh grade. I was invited to this leadership camp over the summer because my teacher had applied to send me there. I got the invitation and I accepted it. And it was a pretty big deal in my life because this was the first time I had recognition for being a leader. So then that positive feedback loop of, self-esteem and leadership qualities and all these different things started in my life. And I can trace back everything that I've become to that moment as one of the foundational times in my life that caused me to change what I thought about myself and in turn live and act in a way that caused me to become such a great leader, which I'm still not the greatest leader. I'm not even leading people on a daily basis, but I would consider myself a strong leader. I have the skill set. What was the event that changed all this? I was invited to a leadership camp at Harvard, and this was huge because I was also starting to get into academics at the time. I was starting to discover my curious mind and my curiosity, that's what I was going to say. And so these two things coupled together, a leadership camp at the foundational educational institution in the world, probably one of the most popular names in popular culture for science and technology and all these different things that come, all the political candidates, all these people graduated from Harvard. That's at least in my mind, that was always the case. So going there was a huge deal. And I remember the experience a lot. I'll build it out in a different talk. But for the week that I was there, we lived on campus in the law buildings, these small dorm rooms. The first night I cried and I called my mom and she said, "You've got this. You're going to stay up there for another week. You're going to be a changed man when you come back." And I was. But at first I was so afraid, And I made a promise to myself at the end of that week, I'm going to go to college here. This place is incredible. I will go to school here. Today's March 28th, 2024. Let's see here. 12 years later, potentially. I got to figure out the actual number. Maybe it's only 7 years. No, I think we're at 10 or 12 years after the day that I made that promise to myself. I applied when I was in high school to Harvard and did not get in, even though I was almost recruited to row there, which was incredible. And so early admission and then regular decision in 2019 and 2020. Then early decision in 2023, I got deferred. This is my fourth application cycle, technically, maybe second, whatever you would call it. And I got denied. So sorry to build up all that to tell you that I got denied, but I'm okay with it because what was going through my mind leading up to it, the final hour or two, just sitting there waiting for this decision to come out. Am I the man that I would want myself to be able to get in, right? If I thought back on it, let's say in 5 years, I was looking back and I was like, man, I got accepted. At that point in life, was I who I needed to be in order to be a student at Harvard? And I cannot confidently say yes. So a lot of people, the first go around when they're senior in high school, they get denied. They'll never try again in their life. I thought that was going to be the case. I would never apply for my undergraduate again. I went to school for a year during COVID. It was a wild situation. I ended up basically dropping out of college. And the past couple of years have been just trying to make social media work to make up for the fact that I never went to college. So for me, reapplying to Harvard was living up to that promise and also a potential way to go back to college, right? To go back to school because of all the things I've done. Okay, so then not getting in now is I have a lot more focus, and a lot of people would never have applied that second time because they probably would already be in school right now, finishing their degree. But the circumstances that my life put me in allowed me to apply for that second time. Now, if this is a promise that I've made to myself, it doesn't matter if I go to school at Harvard. It's the promise. I made that promise even if I was naive, and I want to live up to that. I want to push in all categories of life to become the person I need to be to live up to that promise, because then what is stopping me from achieving anything else in life? If this is the one foundational experience that I can remember, trace back all my leadership development to, and this stemmed my love of knowledge and the personal development that I'm currently on, this path of life. Most of this all can be traced back to that, right? That time in my life. Then it's more than just going to college at this place that matters to me. It's mainly the fact that I'm living up to the promise that I made to myself. I'm achieving something that's like 12 years in the making. And then ultimately, I'm unlocking this new set of potential in my head of I can achieve anything. If it takes 12 years to live up to a promise that I made, even if it's a naive promise to do one of the most difficult things, a student can do to get into Harvard.